зараз мене почнеш чути. Угу.
Hello, my friends. Operator Starsky here. As always, it's so cool to see you guys. So tonight, it's Monday. Monday is a tough day. Today we will talk about the forbidden history of the Russian flag. And today, my friends, I'm joined with my buddy Rick the Ukrainian. He is joining us shortly. As you probably know, Rick is responsible for very important fundraiser right now. He's fundraising for the NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade that are bringing cars, trucks, drones and other equipment to the Ukrainian defenders. Again, NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade is amazing company of great people, and we must do everything to support them. Sound? Yeah, I think I have sound. Commander, nice to see you too. Alrighty, and I think I will not start without Rick. He will be joining us in just a second. Because as always, you know, we're streaming from Ukraine, and also we have hands that look like this. That's why sometimes technical issues are not just expected; they are anticipated. How are you doing, my friends? I can see that there's a lot of familiar names here. Ellie, of course. By the way, Ellie, Raven, Alvin Archer, Jasnila, Commander, Iman Klabi, and please talk about your plans to set a project to fight disinformation. Yeah, we will talk about that, of course. And hopefully, we will be able to see my good buddy who is not...
Hey.
Bro, you're not speaking. What the hell is happening?
Yeah, this is a major
Oh my
fuck
god.
up. Let me
So
just
it's
a
like
second.
it's like you can hear Rick, right?
Yeah, I can.
And I cannot hear a shit.
You cannot.
Oh my god.
This text stuff.
It happens all the time, guys.
Check.
It happens all the time.
Check.
What
Can
if
you hear
I
me?
just do like this?
Check.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
all right. Now I can hear my friends.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I will just remove this stuff. It's not necessary. Alrighty, so we fixed the problem, and like previous time, everything worked fine. Like with exactly this setup with Mercado, and everything was absolutely perfect.
Can you hear me now?
I blame Russians. Of course, I blame Russians for everything. Whom else, right? So, Rick, tell us, how are you doing?
I'm good. And can you hear me now? Because I was switching the mics.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I'm good, but I'm really worried today and like lately about everything about the situation with this war, with the delays on shipments of equipment and the shortage of military aid and financial aid from our partners. This is all starting to cause big problems, and Russians are really focused on breaking us this winter. They are trying to, start some kind of coup inside Ukraine. They are advancing on all fronts, on all directions. They are also, except probably the Kherson region, they are trying to defend there. But we have our borders being blocked by our friendly countries, right? Friendly neighbors. And we won't. I won't say they are countries because there are some individuals in those countries who presumably work on Russians, but no, I wouldn't blame the whole country. Like, it's not Poland's fault. We should separate the country from greedy people who want just money, and they don't care about any. They don't have any values. They will do whatever Russia tells them because Russia pays them. That's how it usually works. And the West is blocking the new package, like not the new, let's say, I think it's the budget for all the military aid for 2024, right? And it is still haven't been voted for in Congress. It's being blocked, and there are so many speculations on that, and congressmen and senators, they're like switching positions 180 degrees, like Senator, what was his name again, the Republican who said he's not ready to support Ukraine anymore. Oh, well, William Graham, or yeah, Senator Graham, I guess. Sorry, man, that I didn't give you the chance to reply to this. But yeah, man, we'll get to that. I think I shouldn't be talking about this much right now. We got to talk about the Russian flag, and then we're gonna go to that because, man, it's actually getting a bit critical these days, and we got to work even more on supporting the armed forces because it seems like the first days of full-scale invasion. It is really different from last year and even from 3 or 4 months ago. Very different.
Yeah, and tell me, my friend. Oh, I'm so loud. Why the hell am I so loud? Tell me, my friend, what were you working on these days?
Of course, the main uh, campaign that we're trying to finish is the NAFO truck campaign. And I've come here also to ask you once again for your donations. Shit, my hand is not getting too high enough so you could see it, guys. Now you can see me with the hand stretched. But yeah, guys, seriously, this car will go to the FPV unit of the Steel Border Brigade. My friend serves there. It's not his unit. He is in different type of forces. He's not the FPV pilot, but he is a friend of these guys. They are given the results of their work in the video. I've actually added it to my campaign video, and it's there. You guys can see how good they are with FPV, and they need this car because their car was destroyed. I actually had the photos of that car. If we're gonna remember about that, and if it's not really hard to show it on your tablet, then we could show it probably. But you know how it works, guys. It wasn't even a mortar. It was some I guess like a grenade, right? Or
Automatic grenade launcher.
yes, automatic grenade launchers. Thank you, man. And so it's AGL in English, I think. And it was totally wrecked, totally destroyed. So they're in the need of the new car. And the link is already in the description of this stream. Andrei, my friend, is already added it there. So, guys, you can follow the link and all the information about NAFO trucks if you still don't know what it is. But I think most of you know this initiative, and you already have probably supported not even one, but this one ideally should be closed by 15th of December because we're trying to get it to the next convoy. Next convoy is coming here to Kyiv on 15th of December. So please, guys, this will help one amazing unit of FPV pilots. You know how FPVs are crucial these days. And that's it. Thank you very much for your donations that have already been made and that could be made in the future. Thank you, guys.
Bro, do you know how Moscow was called before it became Moscow?
Probably the shit. I forgot the English word for the swamps. Yeah, probably the swamps, right? Swampia, like swampovia,
You're
something like
really,
that.
really, you're really, really close, and I'm gonna
Oh,
talk about it right now. So, shall we start?
let's go.
So, in order to tell the glorious story, the glorious history of the Russian flag, of course, we should briefly dive into the history of the Russian Empire, which starts in 1721. Wait, what? 1720? Like, what? Why so late? Like, dude, like, are you serious? 1720? Guys, the Russian Empire has been created in 1721 by the order issued by Tsar Peter. The truth is, you won't find any mentions of the Russian Empire before 1721 simply because it didn't exist. The territory of the Russian Empire before the reforms were introduced by Peter the Great, so called, all those territories were known as Muscovian Tsardom. And this Tsardom later renamed into the Russian Empire, of course, it had no national flag until the middle 19th century. Uh, in 17th, in 18th century, basically a lot of countries had national flags, like Netherlands, France, of course, but not the Russian Empire. Uh, of course, Moscovian Duchy of Kyiv and Rus had its own coat of arms, which looked like this. And of course, it was properly named the Moscovian coat of arms. Rick, remember this cringe when Putin wasn't able to find Ukraine on the 17th century map?
It was actually there. It was written Ukraine, but with V. He probably just, oh my god, that man is just a retard. He he can't even read.
Yeah, it was clearly there saying Ukraine. They used V in Latin in Latin basically to mark like but like it's there. So when people of the 17th century referred to Rus or Russia, they referred to land which belonged to the Kyiv Rus, for the reason that there was no other Rus but Kyiv and Rus. There was nothing like Novgorod Rus, Moscow,
Yeah.
no, guys, it didn't exist. There was Kyiv Rus, okay? And no matter how hard the Muscovites tried to change it, but you just cannot change the fact that Kiev is 600 years older than Moscow. Kiev that gave birth to Moscovia, to Novgorod, and was populated by people known as Rusichi, or Russians, long before Tsar Peter snatched this name. So a question arises. Why the hell did he do that? And here you can see a magnificent city of Kiev. Why the hell did he do that? So the answer is Peter wasn't the worst brand manager, and he dreamt of ruling the mighty empire. And he realized that mighty empire should obviously have a mighty history. But the fact is, historically, the Russian might and glory always belonged to Kiev, because Kiev emerged 600 years before Moscow. The dukes of Kiev, like Sviatoslav the Brave, they were known for conquering all the tribes around Kiev, on the territory of the modern Ukraine. They were uniting them into Kiev and Rus. They were marrying their daughters to English and French heirs.
Yeah.
They introduced Christianity in Rus, which started in Kiev, 100 years before Moscow emerged. And my friend, this is the answer to the question. So before Moscow emerged, it was called the village of Kuchkina. And I shit you not,
Kuchkina.
initially Moscow was called village of Kuchkova.
Oh my god. So it's such a stupid and retarded name, to be honest, because it is translated like pile, guys.
Pile of something, like
Yeah,
pile
I
of
won't.
shit.
Yeah, oh shit, definitely. That's that's the first thing you think about when you hear the word pile, right?
Yeah. And what Peter did, Peter was embarrassed, but there wasn't much he could do, because, what do you do? Your whole history is based on history of the kingdom you were protectorate of. And he decided to simply call his empire Russia, which meant the land of Rusici, only with capital not in Kiev, in a different place. And Peter was actually the first Muscovian ruler who introduced the modern Russian tricolor in 1720. This tricolor was installed on his ship. However, it was still not used as a national Muscovian Russian flag. Muscovian/Russian flag. The funny fact was, and guys, this story made me laugh my ass off. So, because this ship was built in Holland, in the Netherlands, the Russian Tsar Peter the Great actually spent a lot of time traveling under the Dutch flag on his ship. Later, there was this funny story when his ship went to the French port, and it was arrested in France because France was at the state of war with Holland. And later, Peter decided to simply switch the first two stripes in order to evade, such
Yeah.
accidents. And basically, this is how this flag was really born.
So yeah, just avoiding the punishment for your not the crimes in this matter, but I think, how do you call this? Адміністративне порушення?
Administrative crime. Next ruler, Empress Yekaterina, the one who really, really liked horses. She had like physical attraction to horses, according to several studies. She was the one who actually contributed to building the brand of the Russian Empire, or shall we say, forging the brand. As soon as she became an empress, she decided to check out the mighty history of her empire, which in reality turned out to be less exciting than reading a freaking roll of a toilet paper. And basically, she was the one who invented this popular Russian thing called rewriting history. On 4th of December, 1783, Yekaterina issued an order to establish so-called quote, commission for compiling data on the ancient history, mainly Russian, end of quote. So what did they do? They spent 9 years building and forging the skeleton of the modern Russian history. The history that was based not on Kyiv, which basically gave birth to it, but rather on the Dukes of Moscovia. And according to this pseudo-study, the Muscovian dukes were proclaimed rightful owners of the Kievan kingdom's legacy, Kyiv Rus, and they were also proclaimed the owners of the copyright for Rus, Rusici, and Russians.
Classic.
It was amazing. The freshly forged history that they faked was published in 1792, and all of those millennium-old manuscripts that were explaining the history of Kyiv and Rus, history of all the dukes, Повесть временных лет, and all those books, the originals, because they were considered for the existence of the Russian Empire, they were eliminated and burned. Nonetheless, guys, it was really hard to eliminate the sources that were published by the Europeans, because Kyiv and Rus existed next to other European countries for many, many centuries, and it was in much better relations with other European nations than Muscovians were. And for example, this map of French engineer Guillaume Baplan, published 1680, it was based on a general map actually of 1648. And for example, here you can see in the corner approximately how the Ukrainians of 17th century looked like. I'm sure Putin, also known as Huilo, would be absolutely pleased to see this, right? But he won't. Yekaterina was also unable to erase the names of Ukraine and Moscovia from foreign press because, for example, in French Gazette, published in 1709, which is 11 years before the Muscovian Tsardom was officially renamed into Russian Empire. This newspaper mentioned several countries, including Ukraine, including, you see, Ukraine Furle Borisfan. Sorry for my
General
pronounce.
Mazepa, by the way.
Yeah, Borisfan is a name for Dnipro River, including Muscovia, and friends. Such documents have amazing feature. They are physically invisible for Russians. I mean, Russians literally cannot see such things, especially their historians. And of course, after realizing that, after changing all the history, after rewriting everything, Yekaterina had to change the money, of course, because the money, like for example, this coin produced in 1707, it was saying Muscovian ruble, Moskovsky ruble.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to change a lot of things, pretty much. But you may ask me, what about the Russian flag? Well, Muscovian Russians used a bunch of those. And primarily, they used this black, yellow, white flag, black, yellow, white tricolor. It was used to represent the Russian Empire, usually, like in different cases. It was based on the flag of Habsburgs. Habsburgs had a flag that only contained black and yellow stripe. And officially, it was recognized as a national flag of the Russian Empire only in the mid 19th century by Tsar Alexander II, and nowadays it's usually referred to as an imperial Russian flag. In 2014, the Russian so-called Liberal Democratic Party, LDPR, offered to change the white, blue, red modern Russian flag, and I see that Rick is smiling there because he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They wanted to change the flag back to this imperial flag, but of course this offer was rejected. And Rick, can you explain our viewers a bit about the LDPR?
Well, guys, this is actually a fake party in the Russian Empire, which is known as Russian Federation these days. Now, it's just like, um, man, I know that Zhirinovsky represented it for a long time, and I think like they call themselves a liberal, a democratic party, guys, which has a fascist as a head of a party. Can you imagine that? Zhirinovsky was known as the most radical person in Russian politics. He was constantly calling to destroy Ukraine, to destroy US, to send nuclear bombs to Europe and US. And that dude was, yeah. So now, Starsky, I was asking you on your previous stream in the chat, but you didn't see the question. I wanted to ask you, how would you translate "Земля йому скловатою"?
It's really hard to translate literally, but literaturally, you can translate it in "rest in pieces."
Oh, rest in pieces. Nice, man. I actually will now know how to call it. So,
Yeah.
we wish that fascist to rest in pieces, and he rests in pieces since 2023. Finally, his fascist heart stopped after they invaded Ukraine, and he have seen what catastrophe it was for them.
Yeah, it was amazing. I believe he died from like, was it from COVID or something else?
Hmm. Uh, probably from, I don't know, syphilis, just like Lenin. No.
Yeah, could be, could be.
Could
He
be.
died from being Russian.
Yeah.
So, when did the modern Russian tricolor emerge? We know that in the early 20th century, there were several attempts to let people use it together with the states, black, yellow, and white. Uh, but primarily, it was used in the Russian fleet because for the first time, Peter installed it on his ship, and therefore it was used on the fleet. But officially, official government, official royal family, so-called, of the Russian Empire, they never really liked the white, blue, red, and they never wanted to see it as a national flag. And only with the beginning of the World War I, the Russians realized that their flag basically represents flags of their enemies. Germany, which was black, white, and red, and Austria, which was basically the same. And their allies, of course, the UK and France, they had white, blue, red colors. That's when they started talking about changing the flag. Then there was the February Revolution, which put an end to the monarchy in Russia, in Muscovian Russian Empire. And the modern Russian tricolor was temporarily used by the Russian provisional government for a short period of time instead of the imperial flag. And shortly after October Revolution in Russia in 1917, the Bolsheviks introduced the red communist flag, which became official Russian/Muscovian/Bolshevik flag until the collapse of the USSR in 1991. But it's not the end, my friends, because the white, blue, red flag, despite all that, was still used during the World War II. And this part of Russian history is incredibly interesting. It's incredibly interesting. So, remember, and you probably remember that when Russians were losing pants when a veteran of the SS Galicia was accidentally invited to this event in Canada, and everybody were applauding him, and the Russians were like, "You see how they glorify the Nazis, the Nazi collaborationists." Fun fact, and I shit you not, the modern Russian tricolor was broadly and widely used during the World War II by the Russian Nazi collaborationists. Specifically, Nazi army of General Andrei Vlasov, so-called Russian Liberation Army, that was attached to the German Wehrmacht. So they officially adopted the white, blue, red Russian flag as their colors. And this was official flag of the Russian collaborationist of the World War II. Numerous patches, elements of uniform, colors of the Nazi Russian army remained to this day, and basically they can be easily found online. And for example, here you can see their helmet. You can see the medals, the battle cross, their flag, of course, and there is a Russian soldier, Nazi Russian soldier, proudly holding a flag. And I found actually original photo, but you can still recognize the tricolor. And guys, there's a lot of pictures of the Nazi Russian collaborationists with the same modern Russian flag, the flag of the modern terrorist federation. And here, for example, you can see those proud Nazi soldiers, Nazi officers with the tricolor, exactly how it's supposed to be. Guys, it wasn't just a small group of traitors, okay? It wasn't just 100 men, okay? The Russian Liberation Army consisted of 50 to 70,000 men. Friends, that's roughly half the number of the Russian army that invaded Ukraine in 2022.
Yeah. And actually, Ukrainian Wikipedia says that it was when in 1945, it counted 200,000 men. Can you imagine?
Yeah. As for 1945, it counted several hundred of them. Some of them were dead, of course. Some of them were captured, but nonetheless. Funny fact is that numerous attempts were made in Russia to get rid of this shameful Russian Nazi legacy, which is their modern flag, of course. But because there is no freedom of speech in Russia, the Russians chose the Nazi legacy over the jail, right? Because you cannot openly talk about it, you cannot openly criticize stuff in Russia, because you will wake up in jail and next day you will wake up in Ukraine and then you die. Guys, this part of the Russian history is absolutely forbidden. Russian supremacists prefer not to talk about it at all, because things like this can destroy the very foundation of the horrifying fake called Ruski Mir. Mentioning Vlasov's army and Russian tricolors is actually as bad as mentioning the mutual parade of German Wehrmacht and Russian army in Brest 1939, when these allied countries were tearing apart Poland. And like here, for example, you can see those amazing friends, those bodies, Soviet soldiers, German soldiers, sharing cigarettes, whatever. And like here, this one is my favorite, because here you can see pictures of like this amazing friendship and alliance between Stalin and Hitler before 1941. And this, my friends, is more real than all the bullshit about NATO's not an inch and other conspiracies that were produced for the freaking pro-Russian sheeple, because this is a confirmed fact.
Yeah.
The situation, though, looked even funnier after the World War II, when on the Red Square, the Russian army had this tremendous ceremony of dropping the Nazi flags to the Lenin mausoleum. And for example, I'm sure, Rick, I'm sure that you saw this drawing. This drawing was made by Russian artist Nikolai Terehov, who portrayed this very ceremony. And here you can see them dropping the disgusting Nazi Russian collaborationist flag.
Yeah. And it looks familiar to me, don't you think?
Yeah, so, of course, this piece of art was produced, was made long after the actual event, but accidentally it was based on the real photos. And here you can see the photo taken that very day with the same soldier holding the same Russian tricolor. So whenever the Russians are bullshitting about the wolf's angle on the patch of Azov, please remind them that the modern Russian flag was officially adopted by the Nazi Russian war criminals. And after the World War II, the Russian people were pissing and spitting on this very tricolor. And which is even more important, you should also remind them that Wolf's Angle also looks like this. Because this one belonged to the 19th Division of Wehrmacht, and we all know just how much the Russians love their true legacy. And this is the end of my presentation, my friends. Please don't hesitate to leave your questions in the chat. Rick, what do you think about all this?
Well, man, I can say that they're following the traditions of their flag. This was a Nazi flag during the World War II, and it remains Nazi these days. They have also this Z symbol. They are just following their traditions. I am, actually, I wanted also to mention, for example, the Lokotska Republic in Soviet Union. So this was a republic formed by Nazi government. They were left alone, and they weren't suppressing them, but yeah, not all the Russians wanted actually to be a part of Soviet Union, guys. Even Russians. This was a territory of what regions? Let me check. Um, I think you know the story of this one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, they were part of Kursk, Oryol, and Bryansk regions. Well, Bryansk and Kursk are actually also former parts of Ukraine. This is why it's not really something unusual that those people didn't want to be a part of the Soviet Union. Uh, they remembered the times of freedom, and that's actually, this unfortunately was the like the victory in World War II was not the victory over the ultimate evil. One of the victors was the ultimate evil, and Soviet Union, which was a very evil empire, kept starving people to death after the World War II, because there was another Holodomor of 46. um, and this wasn't like a victory for humanity. This was a victory just against one enemy, and the second enemy still exists, unfortunately.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
As some people in the internet call it, victory of Kolyma over Buchenwald.
yeah, yeah. So Kolyma is just another symbol of those concentration camps, and Russians had their gulag, but it was just the most famous one. They had many, many of those camps. Have you ever heard of any statistics, man? Because I haven't. Maybe you heard how many prison camps there were in Soviet Union.
I believe there were either more than 100 or more than 1,000, because there were a lot of them.
Yeah.
And one of those camps is really notorious because all the disabled veterans after the World War II, Soviet veterans, because they created this very, very bad impression, because full of, like, the streets were full of people without limbs, without legs, arms, and Stalin ordered to remove them from the streets. And basically, those disabled people were brought to so-called sanatorium on this island, where it was basically like a concentration camp, only called sanatorium, and they all died there. There's some memories remained about this horrible place, but this is the place where a lot of veterans whose only guilt was they were disabled, that they lost their limbs on the war, where they found their final destination.
Yeah, and it's so damn uh, describing what Soviet Union was. There was no dignity, no respect for people. They simply considered people as just a resource that can be thrown away easily.
Yeah,
So damn tragic.
yeah. Also, a lot of Soviet soldiers that were captured by the uh, Germans and later either exchanged or released after the war, they still had to spend like 10 years behind the bars in Soviet Union, because when they were captured by their former comrades, they were considered enemies of people, people's enemies, because they were not supposed to surrender.
Enemy of the state, I think,
Yeah,
is the Western term for it. But in Soviet Union, they were called enemy of people.
yeah,
And it this was I wanted to add something, but it slipped my mind, and I just wanted to mention all the people there in the chat, because I think I forgot to say hello guys. I'm really happy to be here on Starsky stream. It's an honor and pleasure to see you all there, and I already have something to thank you about. I have received a few donations for the NAFO truck. Just let me mention. I cannot actually say the names because 69 Sniffing Brigade can only see all that. But I can say at least the number of donations. It was just a sec. I'm gonna update it once again. It was 52. Now it's 57. 5 donations, guys, and plus 300 and almost 400 euros. You're amazing. Thank you very much. This helps a lot. This moves us from 57% to, there's no percentage here. Okay. So they use, the donor box and it updates faster than their page. And on donor box, I can see those donations, but it doesn't show the percentage. But I can actually count that, but I don't think it's very much relevant. But you guys helped already. Thank you very much. And thank you for gifting Starsky's viewers memberships, because it is super awesome. You support him, you support his cause. And I am grateful to you for that, because this guy, is just amazing. You'll love him. Me too.
You're their favorite YouTuber, anyways.
You always say that.
That's why I invited you today. So tell me, a previous time when you fundraised for the truck with the NAFO 69, where did it go to which unit? If you can talk about it.
The previous one.
Yeah.
To the Kraken unit, and I can show you the flag that they actually gave me for that. That's the flag, not mine. It's not my flag. It's the flag of our community, just like our joint flag. And I would love to really sometimes after victory, when all the rollers, our community was called by Dick Dawson Rick Rollers. When all the rollers come to Ukraine, we're going to stretch this flag and make a photo all together. This is going to be the moment I'm looking forward to. So just a second, I'm going to show that Kraken flag.
Oh my God, I'm dreaming about this day when we will be just, able to meet with all our friends, all the fellow YouTubers from other countries, and just have a beer like normal people.
Yeah, and men, can you please make the screen wider for
Yeah,
me?
of course.
Mode? Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. Yeah, not turn, but put this off. So here it is. It is
All right.
beautiful and amazing, and it's an honor for me to receive it. Here are the signs. I don't think, it's all blurry, you see, but probably if I make it like this, you can see that it's all signed. And it was the first time we helped Kraken. This won't be ever forgotten by them and by me too. Thank you, rollers, and thank you everyone who contributed, also from other communities, because I know that not only the rollers, but I think also your community might be helping as well. Even though I wasn't on your streams yet, but they still know me, because we already have been, buddies for some time. So you've introduced me to your community.
Yeah, well, one way or another, our community is connected. So because our viewers are the most dedicated and most, I would say, brave people on the YouTube here. Not only on the YouTube, but in the real life, which is even more important. Where did you get the sweater?
This one
64 asks you.
this one is the Ukrainian brand streetwear. I can actually send you the link, and you can add it to the description for the people. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds nice.
Awesome. Nice brand, good quality. I wear this one, I don't know, almost for a year, and it's still in a good shape. So pretty good one, and cheap, guys. Just let me think. Just about 30 bucks or something. Just like many Ukrainian brands, they provide quality thing for a small price.
Yeah. Lisa Van Valen asks, who gets to drive your truck from Estonia?
Oh, I actually don't know. And I gotta ask. Thank you. It's a very good question. I would love to know myself.
Yeah. Release the Kraken, Kenny McDermott.
Yeah, that's actually their motto. In their videos, they say "Выпускайте Кракена." Remember this
Yeah.
one?
Will Monston asks, are these guys related? Are we related?
Yeah, we're both Ukrainians.
With both Ukrainians, guys. Yeah, of course we're related. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, people like your hoodie.
Thank you, guys. I really recommend you. I've already sent this to Merdzi. I think you know Merdzi. He's from your community, and he was yeah. So I'm sending it to Starsky now. Just give me a second. Okay, Starsky, you have it on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay, thanks. And Dyslexic Dog from Canada asks, please ask Rick the Ukrainian to give his best impression of Kirill Alexeyevich Budanov's smile.
Yeah, something like that, man. You do it better than me. You just did a great impression. uh, yeah, something like that. Okay, there were no interviews for some time of Kirill Budanov, aren't they? Weren't they?
Uh, I don't really remember, but I think he's really busy right now because all the things that happened with his wife, a Russian assassination attempt, and things like that. So I really
Yeah,
hope that she gets better really really soon,
and I
and I
think
really hope
that
that
guy.
they will find the assholes who did that
Yes,
also very very soon.
I think that guy won't let it be. He will definitely find the guys who did it, even if it is the goons near Putin themselves, as they are. It's definitely the FSB operation, and I mean, some Patrushev himself might be behind that, and I think Budanov is the one to punish even someone like that guy.
What would Starsky look like with Rick's haircut?
Hmm. You gotta try, man. I think you was sometimes long ago, right? You were having a long hair, right?
I had a long hair. I had like hair long like this.
Yeah. So it's not hard to imagine. You can show people the photo from your youth, probably with the tail. Of course, you had to shave your sides and your back of the head, but still, it will look a lot the same, I think.
Yeah, or maybe I can just transplant hair from other areas. Uh, HX says best regards from Brazil. Sorry for our
Awesome.
corrupt president that doesn't want to help Ukrainian people. Thank you so much, my friends, and thank you so much for all the Brazilian people who support Ukraine.
Yes,
Uh,
guys, thank you very much. You're not like your government. Thank you.
yeah,
We know that.
yeah. David Elston, can you explain the history origins of the Ukrainian flag? Rick, can you do that, please?
Should it be me? Actually, to be honest, we'll ask you the same question. I only know the symbols which it symbolizes, that our sunflower fields and our blue skies. But when it appeared, I know it was before, like some kind of eight centuries for the first time, or after Kyiv Rus. What do you think?
It emerged after Kyiv Rus. The reason
Uh-huh.
is that in medieval times there was no such term as a state. Actually,
Mhm.
like in medieval times, there were different types of inheriting power, and before republics emerged, before democratic states emerged in medieval times, there was no such thing as states. That's why basically national flags. Well, like officially in some countries they did exist, like for example in like France or Netherlands, as it was mentioned, but generally no, because people didn't think about their countries as states. They thought about their city states.
Hmm.
Feudals had some piece of land, uh, and over like dukes there were like kings, or kings were emperors, and they had this vertical, let's call it, chain of command. So after the leader dies, like for example king dies, his whole kingdom would be like not dismantled, but it would disintegrate into smaller city states ruled by his heirs, and sometimes one heir would conquer other states. So it was kind of chaotic. But as for the blue yellow Ukrainian flag, it was introduced officially as a state's flag in the Ukrainian National Republic. That unfortunately, shortly after being created, it was occupied by the Russian Bolsheviks. And guys, it was exactly the moment when the Ukrainian state was, let's say, it received a chance to have future, because as soon as the Russian Empire disintegrated, during the existence of this provisional government in Russia, so to say, we were going towards being independent country 100 years ago. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
because Russians launched their, again, this hybrid warfare, which consisted of Bolsheviks occupying the arsenal in Kyiv and launching uprising, which was, by the way, suppressed by joint Ukrainian and Polish army, Simon Petlura and Marshałek Pilsudski, who also had mutual parades several days after their victorious kicking ass of the Russian communists. So, unfortunately, due to those events, Ukraine was occupied by Bolsheviks, and this was not possible for us to be independent until the collapse of the Soviet Union, when the Ukrainian flag was introduced once again. And Ukrainian flag symbolizes our peaceful intentions of having our fields of grain over the blue sky. And I cannot find more peaceful flag than that. We always like to make bread. Like we always like to be masters of our own land, and we never attacked anybody else.
Yeah.
That's why, for example, when some of the, let's say, some of the conservative Americans say shit about Ukraine, I don't understand why they hate Ukraine, which never wanted to destroy the US. No, we always wanted to be friends. But at the same time, Russia always wanted to see demise of the US. It's
Yep.
freaking. I
Uh,
cannot understand this.
so Ukrainian flag first appeared in 1917, somewhere those days.
Officially, yeah. And interesting fact about the Ukrainian flag was that sometimes it would switch, like it would
Hmm.
be switched for some reason, you know.
Upside down.
Yeah, some believe that it was like fire over the water, but usually it was referred to just, like a field of crops under the sun, under the blue sky. So this is the brief story of the Ukrainian flag. Sometimes you can see it in medieval history, but again, it wasn't a state's flag. Like because again, back then there was no such term as state. There were kingdoms or duchies ruled by different feudals. They had their coats of arms, but the state's flags only appeared later when uh, the European countries were introduced such thing as nationalism, and they started building their countries on the national principle. And by the way, it's not the only principle that you can build a nation. There's 5 of them, which is territory, history, ethnicity, common will. Like if a lot of people want to build a country, they can do that. And language.
Language, yes.
Or religion. Did I mention it?
No, religion wasn't mentioned yet.
Religion.
So is it the religion or the language? I wonder. I think
history is basically language as well. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the written books of history, right? They're written in some language.
Yeah.
Also.
One interesting fact about Russians is that Russians never recognize the US as a nation. And for example, you remember one of my streams where I showed this absolutely insane Russian dude in Germany who was saying, like, the dude was standing there in Germany and he was saying, I believe that like black people should, he used an N word, they must live in Africa, Europeans must live in Europe, Russians must live in Russia, but Americans don't exist. You know, and they like basically we can confirm this, that Russians never consider the US a nation. Because according to Russians, who, let me remind you, are the most faithful fighters against Nazism. So according to Russians, the US is not a nation because they don't have the same ethnic origin. They are not Aryan enough. That's why they cannot be considered a nation. So that's one of the, you probably like heard that a lot. Like America is not a nation. They don't have the same roots.
I think I hear it for the first time, to be honest. But it totally goes with the concept of Russia, just wants all nations to be conquered, and it's easier to conquer some territory. Yeah, I should say all the territories to be conquered by them, and it's easier to conquer the territory to say, guys, there is no American nation. Russians live there. Russian speaking people live there. We gotta liberate them, right? So we will go there to Brighton Beach and we'll start from there. Something
Return
like
Alaska.
that. Return Alaska. Oh my God, yes. They need to go to Alaska first.
I shit you not. One time, I think it was at the In Time show, or was it at the Shills? I don't remember. I said, guys, imagine Russians saying that during like Ice Age, when people could walk between the continents, between like Russia and the US, okay, people from Chukotka crossed the ocean, right? And they went to the US, which basically it's based on several studies that people, Native Americans who lived in the on the territory of the U.S. and Canada, they are related to people from like northeast of Russia because people migrated. And I'm like, imagine if they go Native Americans are actually Russians. Let's liberate them, right?
Yes.
Guys, I shit you not. Exactly, like after a month after I said it was a joke, okay. Approximately a month after that, I literally saw a publication in Russian media that actually the US were natively populated by Russians.
Man, they are watching your channel, I bet. Hey, FSB
Shit.
agents in the chat, do fuck off.
I gave them like an idea. Now I see.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
To give you an idea. Man, I have something here that I wanted to show you and all the people who are watching. That's a thing that is crucial for the front line these days. And here it is. It's an FPV drone. Yeah.
Oh.
Um, a beautiful green one. So I have six of them right here. I brought one from the wardrobe, just one, just to show to you. But I have six of them. So as you know, guys, they are currently we have a lack of shells, and this deficit is growing, unfortunately, because the shipments from US are getting smaller and smaller. You have probably noticed that packages started growing down, like in terms of sums of money that were transferred, not transferred, but those packages were bought for, right? So it was like in the beginning, were billion packages, like 1 billion, 2 billion. Sometimes it was 500 million. Now it is just 1 or 200 million, not more. From the US, I'm talking. Yes. So US was the like main supplier of the shells for Ukraine this past almost 2 years. And these packages are next packages are being blocked by the budget that is still not confirmed there, because it was blocked by some MAGA Republicans. And now this thing is becoming our shells. And you can imagine how many shells we need per day to withstood all the attacks of Russians. It's approximately at least 10,000 shells. So if we buy 10,000 drones instead, only then we're going to be able to hold still, and not retreating at some points, because we just cannot manage our soldiers cannot manage to hold the ground without shells, because artillery is the main supporter of the infantry. And without artillery in modern war, you just cannot defend. So FPV drones are our new shells. They are cheaper than shells, at least 6 times cheaper, and they are only hope these days. I was saying that I am worried in the beginning of the stream, and this deficit of the shells can be only, how do you call this, compensated by the FPV drones. This is why I am also starting the competition, like the flash mob this Christmas, guys. You're gonna be first to hear it, uh, and I just want you. Yeah, I just want to tell you about it. Starsky, you have something to add before I start telling about the flash mob?
There's a comment from John West. I bet Starsky could take out that drone with one shot. Which is true because it's a Ukrainian drone. I have this bad habit of shooting
Ukrainian drones.
our own surveillance UAVs.
Well,
but
this one is not for surveillance, so probably you won't shoot it, right?
basically, yeah. And another question from Tim Anderson: can the drone lift an RPG shell? So, guys,
Yeah.
those drones come equipped with thermobaric and cumulative, basically armor piercing charges. So
Yes.
some of them are used against tanks, against armored targets to penetrate their armor, and others are used to eliminate personnel. They carry thermobaric charges and they carry shrapnel. So
Yeah.
that's the answer. So, like some of those, but not this very type. There's different type of drones that can lift like RPG rocket, RPG grenade. But currently, we are using such drones that are produced in Ukraine, that are assembled in Ukraine, basically, and we can use them in big numbers. But also, I would like to show you one very interesting thing. So today, Today, 5,000 such FPV
Yeah,
drones were given to the Ukrainian defenders by United 24. 5,000 FPV drones that will find their targets on the Ukrainian Donbass, in the Zaporizhia Oblast, in Kherson, and in other
amazing
places.
result. And yeah, this was a joint company, not company, but campaign of Save Life, Ukrainian fund, the biggest one. Then it was Monobank, Pritula's fund also, three huge companies. They raised here in Ukraine 230 million hryvnias, which is what, half a million dollars?
No, it's
It's more.
$320 million
Ah,
is approximately
no,
10
hryvnias. You said
hryvnias.
dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's approximately $10 million.
Really? Oh, okay. So, yeah, $10 million, guys, in 3 days. Ukrainians were raising this really fast, and it was happening 4 months ago. So to ship just half of these drones, it took a few months. But they were providing also not just drones, but also the explosives with it. The how do you call this? The ammunition, right? The grenade or a thermobaric shot with it. So yeah, and accumulators. This one is just a drone. It doesn't have the accumulator, which should go here on top and connect with this connector. And the charge is coming down here. So this drone is becoming pretty fat. You see, it is skinny at the moment, but then you put something big here, you put a big accumulator here, and it's becoming a big drone. But it's still super fast. I think it can fly at least 100 kilometers per hour, right?
Yeah. And there's a question: how bad are the problems the tracker blockade is causing? So the problems are really bad because
Yeah.
there are cases when some of the aid that was meant to be delivered to the Ukrainian defenders was not led through the blockade. There were several tanks with fuel that couldn't reach its destination. So there are such cases, unfortunately, and unfortunately, it's really bad. Again, it's bad for our both countries, but we know that Russians are paying huge money in order to ruin the friendship between our countries.
Yeah. Slovakia also joined the blockade, and I think Hungary is also blocking. I'm not sure about Hungary yet, but Slovakia is definitely joined those protests, so-called protests, because, well, I don't know. Can you call them, if they are staged by Russia, can you call them protests? Or are they also an act of terrorism?
That's a good question, and that will be the matter of the study that my future institute will be performing.
How do you
Because
want to name it?
so we decided to name it Propaganda Study Institute,
Hmm.
which is the abbreviation sounds like psi,
Hmm.
and the Greek letter psi looks like Ukrainian trident.
Hmm.
So I think we were on the right track. And for those viewers who don't know, yes, on Saturday on the shells, I made this announcement about creating a propaganda study institute,
I missed it.
together with a band of journalists, my friends, together with a lot of communication specialists, and we will be working on finding a legal solution to fight the Russian propaganda over the Europe, and
Wow.
hopefully in the US as well.
Wow, man, how could I miss that? I joined that stream half an hour later than it started, and I didn't rewatch the recording. Shit. Well, man, congratulations. It's an amazing idea. I'm totally supporting it, and Godspeed. I really wish you a great success because it is so much needed, especially now when Russian propaganda is it's become more powerful and more influential in Europe. And you see that some countries are already leaning towards dictatorships and choosing some leaders that are supporting Russia, and that's a big problem. So thank you, man. So I want to quickly talk about this flash mob. Maybe you'll consider joining it too, all of you guys, and you, Starsky. Here it is. I'll call it an FPV for Christmas, like a gift for Christmas. But instead of gifts, my wife proposed me to, you know, gift each other a donation for an FPV drone. So the flash mob is next. You choose a gift for your loved ones, and instead of buying it, you pay the same price for an FPV drone. Like, I will be sending to one of the initiatives, either Sternenko, he is raising money for them every day, and a lot of people are donating him, but still, it is not enough. 10,000 drones are needed there at the front every day, ideally, to, withstood all the attacks. That's what we need. So we all must work on that. All the Ukrainians must work on that. We also decided, to so the flash mob is going to be next. You just gift someone, if you want to join this. Instead of the gift, you give your friend or your loved ones or your family the donation. You donate to one of the initiatives. I was saying that I either will donate to Sternenko or to Secular Sekai. He's raising, by the way, it's his campaign. And Anton Tkachenko, Ukrainian volunteer, together with Secular Sekai. Guys, you probably know Secular Sekai. He's in many, many Ukrainian communities. He's very active. He created his own channel, Tridents Against Tyrants, and he's raising money for 110th Brigade, who are based in Avdiivka. And these 110 drones will be going there. Sorry for another promotion here. Man, I hope it's not too many of them. But every bit helps right now, and we are trying to help. Me and Sekai and our community, we are trying to help the armed forces of Ukraine. So this flash mob is going to be, I want to do this, and my wife wants to do this, and to attract people to do this, to have another Christmas in Ukraine. Because if we won't change the situation right now, like, very fast, because it's critical at the moment. This is this yeah. So this could be no Christmas for us next year. Of course, I am optimist, and I don't believe that, and I really believe that we'll succeed in supporting our army, like multiplying our support to the army. And also, we need to shake our government. We need to shake our politicians to really focus on supplying our army with FPV drones. They've started the production, but it's too slow. We need at least 5 times faster production rate. And the thing is that me, Starsky, and all the Ukrainians will have another Christmas, only if we will stop Russians. And our army is, it's in a very, very heavy condition. Starsky can tell you himself. He was there. He knows how hard it is. I heard that in 2 days, Russians can launch 35 FPV drones into one position. It's up to this day. You've been there 2 months ago. The situation wasn't that critical back then, but it was still super critical, right, man? You can confirm that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So
Current.
to sum it up, I will be launching this on YouTube, on Twitter, guys. So it's going to be called an FPV for Christmas. So if you want to join the campaign, follow this hashtag. It will be appearing tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, somewhere that. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's supply more FPVs to our army, because they are our shells now, and you know that shells are winning wars these days. Thanks, man.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. And I will absolutely support this flash mob as well, and send it to our fellow YouTubers out there,
Thanks,
because
man.
it's very very important to supply our guys with things that go boom, that help to turn Russians into good Russians and make this world a bit more beautiful and safe place. Um,
Yeah.
okay, let's check out some of the commentaries of our viewers. And Kenny McDermott, all I want for Christmas is a free and democratic Ukraine. Thank you very much.
That's possible only by defeating Russians.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh my god, I lost my favorite commentary. Like I was late because I've been attaching chains to my toilet, which uh, like, is your toilet located in the sex tunnel?
Um, where did you find out that?
I mean, the change and everything. What will be your institute's first project? So, first of all, we
Yeah.
want to study the legal way of fighting the Russian propaganda on the level of governments. Because again, we have double standards. And by the way, I received your email. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to answer it yet. I will do it as fast as possible. And thank you very much for contacting me. But currently, we have double standards when you cannot promote messages of ISIS. But you can easily speak and retranslate messages produced by Russian propagandists, and basically those messages have absolutely the same result, which is deaths and suffering. So we need to find a legal way of fighting the Russian propaganda and make people spreading this propaganda. And we're talking about opinion makers paid by Kremlin and people like that, responsible for what they're saying. Because one thing is, yeah, when you have freedom of speech, when you can criticize your government, when you can criticize your employers and things like that. But if your end result of your narrative is somebody's death, sorry, it's wrong, and we have to stop this. So it will be our first project, and there will be a lot of them as well, because we want to study different organizations, different movements, and different pro-Russian opinion makers, pro-Russian propagandists in Europe and the US, of course. And we will involve a lot of journalists, because we need to conduct journalist investigations, of course. It's really, really global. So currently, I think we have to live one day at a time, and we have to at least finish making our mission, and basically, yeah, then we can establish the institute. So that is the
Thank you, man,
idea.
for doing that. It is so important, and the timing is perfect. So I wish you all the best into this project. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, bro. Okay,
Okay.
what else do we have? Mark
Uh,
Sangamon. Shit, I missed another one.
yeah, I just have noticed that message. One thing before, yeah, I know that we still have questions. We still need to answer questions, but I wanted just to mention another amazing initiative. It's a humanitarian initiative. If you will allow me to, uh, like, speak for another 3 to 5 minutes again.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, bro. You gotta do it.
Yeah, thank you, man. So, guys, there's a shelter, an animal shelter here in Ukraine, in Hostomel. It's actually the place that Starsky was protecting in the first days. Hostomel was under occupation, right, man?
Yeah, Hostomel was occupied for approximately a month.
Yes, and there for a month, that shelter was actually surviving, trying to survive. Not all the animals survived there, unfortunately. they were going, "Oh my God, Starsky, you disappeared. Are you still
No,
there?"
I'm here, buddy. I'm here.
Thank you. You totally gave me the floor. It is so unusual. I'm taking over your stream. Oh my God, I don't want to do this. Too much pressure. Okay, but anyway, guys.
Please use as much as you can.
Thanks, man. Okay, okay, guys. So now this shelter, which is called Hostomel Shelter, it is the owner of the shelter and the manager of the shelter is Maria. She's one of the kindest people I've ever met. She cares about every animal and she wants to take thousands of them, but they are currently have uh, yeah, they currently have only 600 animals, and they're really low on budget. They need around $15,000 just to pay the salaries, just to feed animals, and to build some new cages. And it's still not enough. This, for example, in November, they've been just raising around 50%, and they it will cover only the food and the salary, and there will be no chance to get more animals to the shelter, and requests are coming, hundreds of requests are coming every week. So it's really hard for Maria emotionally, because she wants to save them all, but she must say no to people. Guys, I adopted 2 days ago. I adopted a kitty there. Um, my wife found a kitty. She's following that shelter. They are very trustworthy. They are doing all the vaccinations. They are doing the sterilization, and they are also, treating them and getting them on into the quarantine for the first month, so they are totally healthy and watched after. They are in very good shape, but unfortunately they need our support, and not just mine and yours, guys. I asked Starsky to add the PayPal and the link tree of their organization to the description of the stream. It's going to be there. You can send them donations, but I'm gonna be working on finding them sponsors, because right now they can manage only on just donations. But donations, they have the tendency to start getting lower, and yeah, this month it's really hard for them. uh, Guys, we were there with Andrew Mercado when where he was filming the interview, and this was so touching and so damn wholesome. Her story, the story of the shelter, and what they want and what they actually can do right now. And you will see this on Andrew's channel in approximately a month, I think, because editing process takes some time. We had operator Mike with us who was filming professionally, so it will also take time to edit. The production will uh, yeah. David Elston is asking, when do we see Monroe on stream? Monroe is the kitty I've adopted. She is very shy and timid, as Tunes said to me yesterday. I didn't even know this word, but now I know it. So yeah, probably she'll appear on one of the streams, but she's really scared. I think she had a very traumatizing childhood. Probably people were hurting her. This is why she is very scared. But she's already adapting to our apartment, and not getting not afraid of me just walking into the room. She's getting more relaxed. She received a very good home. I must tell you, I won't be humble in this, because my wife does a great job, and I'm a kind person too, so she's gonna be fine. Sorry, man, that it takes so long, but guys, I call you, please, if you have the means to donate to the Hostomel Shelter, use their PayPal or any other option. There's a monobank link there also on their link tree, but I think PayPal is really the best option for you guys, because it's
Uh,
what I used.
uh,
Uh,
one question, bro. Does she has a husband who has like the same haircut as you,
Oh
a
no,
military?
maybe. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure, really. I didn't
Because
see him.
Because I know Maria from Hostomel, who has a pet shelter.
Uh-huh.
Her husband served in my brigade in
Oh.
2018, I believe. There was a story when they found an owl that was wounded, and they adopted this owl, and they took care of it. So I think we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, Marie Vronska, her second name is.
Yeah, of
This is
course I
her.
know her.
Oh man, so cool. So you can confirm that she's the kindest person ever. And
She is basically, they had this huge pet shelter in their yard with like facilities for the pets, and they mostly kept like different birds, but also other pets like cats, dogs, and they did it without any support. So basically, they were spending their own money to upkeep those animals, and they did fantastic job. Actually, back then, I think it was either 2018 or 2019, I made a report on my brigade's page on Facebook about it, because our guy found this owl and they took care of it. So it was really really cool.
so cool. They have a crow living in their shelter right now.
Yeah,
So cool. And yeah, man, the world is a small place. I'm so happy that you know them. And now I know that her husband served in your brigade. This is so cool.
yeah.
Um,
Well, Hostomel basically is not a big is not a big place.
yeah, you're right. And yeah, guys, please, if you have $1 or two to donate there, please do it. This will help them a lot because, as I've told you, they are short on the budget. So these are mostly all the things that I wanted to promote today. Support to the armed forces of Ukraine with FPV drones, my new initiative, and Hostomel Shelter. They really need our support, guys. And man, as I've told just before, like 5 minutes ago, that there's this initiative they've started, the Angel of Hostomel Shelter. The company can donate just 10,000 hryvnias per month. So for the company, it's a small amount of money, just $300, 300, right? 10,000 hryvnias is about $300, even less than that.
Less than three
Less.
hundred dollars.
260 or something. So we need to find them 40 companies, just 40 companies. They have 6 already and 34 more to go. And this will be enough if every each of this company will donate 10,000 hryvnias to them. This will be enough to cover all like their basic needs for every month. And all the donations will do the improvement, like to take more pets, animals, to build more cages for the dogs and more rooms for cats. Cats live in rooms there all together. This is so cute. They have beds. They have fireplace there, which they're lying next to. So cool, guys. Andrew's video is gonna be amazing. So don't miss it in about a month on his channel. Maybe earlier. Who knows? So cool. Thanks, man. I am really happy that we connected in this story and that more people now know about Hostomel Shelter. They are amazing.
Yeah, they deserve that. I can confirm. Also, I would like to make a shout out for Harley, EOD Ukraine. If you don't know whom to support in Ukraine at all, you
Yeah,
can find them on YouTube. Harley does amazing job. He provided a lot of aid for our soldiers throughout years since 2022, and currently he's out there, and Secular Sakai knows him basically.
hmm,
So Harley is out there on Donbass, demining the Ukrainian soil together with other volunteers and specialists. So again, they're doing an amazing job. And if you know Harley, you
man.
know that this dude is legendary.
He's such a humble, wholesome, and kind guy. I was having him as a guest on two actually of my streams. First, it was just 15 minutes because he was in the airport and he said, "Oh, that's my flight. I gotta run." And then he came the next week, and we had an awesome 2-hour conversation. That guy is so awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
a big shout out to Harley Yoti.
yeah, yeah. We gotta totally invite him if he has time, like for some of our streams.
Yeah.
And guys, we are approaching 1 hour and 35 minutes of our stream. I think it's a good idea to say see you. We don't say goodbye. We say see you next time, right? And Rick, what would you like to tell our viewers?
I would like to tell that they are the best. I mean, you guys are one of the best people I've ever met. Your community, Starsky, my community, they intertwine, I know, and also Andrew Mercado's community, Jake Bro's community. Well, there's a lot of us, and we are united, and that's our strength. And since uh, that's actually why we are uh, gonna kick Russians' asses in the end, because we are united. We are conscious about what's happening, about who's the evil here and who's the good guys. We are the good guys. Yes. And there's no doubt for any conscious person. And you guys you are just fantastic. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for helping us, supporting us, and most importantly, supporting the armed forces of Ukraine. Join Starsky's initiatives, whichever initiatives he starts. It's going to be awesome. I'm sure of that. And man, so hyped about your institute. And if you need any support, just ask me. I'm really hoping uh, to be able to help somehow in the future. Maybe I will be able. I'm not an expert. I'm not, a professional, but at least something I might be able to do. And guys, yeah, join an FPV for Christmas initiative, which I'm starting in a few days. We need to provide our army with ammunition, because since ammunition is not coming from big shell companies, we got to do it ourselves. Thank you guys. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for this amazing stream. Thank you, men, for inviting me and having this one with me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here today.
Thank you, my friend. The honor is mine. And yeah, I can confirm our viewers are the best. I don't know what to add to this. And um, several weeks ago, we even ate surströmming for you guys. We decided to make like a
Not me.
small funny video. Each Ukrainian and pro-Ukrainian YouTuber that were there: Arthur, Ray, and Brandon, and a lot of people actually. Angela, by the way, guten Abend. So yeah, like the main purpose of that was just to make video for fun and shout you out, guys, because you are fantastic what you're doing. Ellie and Lisa for moderation, and yeah, and a lot of other people, and Michaels, and Silver Earth, and oh my God,
Tune Otterson,
there's so
Michelle
many of them.
Ferguson, Rick
OCT,
Sanchez. Yeah.
yeah,
So many names.
OCT, and the Shields, and everybody, guys, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Much love to you, your families, and your countries. And see you next time.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Yeah, do the magic.
Yeah, the magic.
The magic.